Welcome to a deep dive that promises to be pretty surprising, maybe even a bit intriguing. We're focusing today on the fascinating journey one name can take, or, well, maybe what two similar names can reveal. We're looking at a stack of sources you sent us. There's a professional website, an IMDb Pro profile, and a YouTube documentary transcript.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here when you look at these sources is how, on the surface, they seem to point to just one person. But then as you start connecting the dots, you see they actually unveil two, like, remarkably distinct paths.
Right.
So our mission today really is to pull out the important bits, the key knowledge from these sources, just to give you a clear picture of these, well, intertwined stories. So as we start unpacking this, what's kind of standing out to you initially?
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this. What immediately jumped out at me is the core of this whole thing revolves around the name Monet, or maybe Monet. And just the really surprising stories these documents tell us about the people behind those names. So we're starting with a professional website. This is for Brigitte Monet Boyer.
Mm.
And her resume, I mean, wow. It reads like a who's who of these like iconic American lifestyle and media brands.
Uh-huh.
J. Crew, Kate Spade, Anthropology, Thai MS, West Elm, One Kings Lane, Sea Wonder. Even AOL and Condé Nast, she spent, what, 13 years with these kinds of companies? It makes you wonder, how does one person apply their vision across such different yet sort of uniformly loved brands?
That's a really great observation, and it's precisely where her unique perspective comes in. Her background isn't just standard business.
Yeah.
It's actually rooted in conceptual art, creative writing, and communications.
Okay, interesting.
So this isn't just about, marketing products. What's really insightful here is how she uses that artistic foundation, how she leverages it to kind of think up and develop these compelling brand narratives, stories that really foster a genuine emotional connection with the audience, and crucially translates that connection into actual measurable business results.
It's fascinating how that kind of broad artistic background leads to such specific expertise, though. Her profile mentions this focus on digital, editorial, and e-commerce, creating elegant interfaces and intuitive interaction.
Mhm.
Can you maybe elaborate a bit on that? Like, how does that actually improve things for us, the consumers, with these big brands?
Absolutely. Yeah. When she talks about elegant interfaces and intuitive interaction, she's really focused on making that whole digital journey seamless, enjoyable, even for you, the customer.
Right, like you don't notice it.
Exactly. It's about streamlining the architecture so you don't even notice the effort behind a website. It should just feel natural, easy to use. And she's also, a seasoned leader, directing photography, building up creative teams, defining those brand standards,
Uh-huh.
all to make sure there's this consistent, engaging experience no matter where you interact with the brand. And she's currently based out in sunny Los Angeles, California.
Okay. But just as we're kind of getting a clear picture of Brigitte Monet Boyer,
Mm-hmm.
our sources throw this fascinating twist at us. They introduce an entirely different life story, tied to a name that's, well, almost identical.
Right. And now, yeah, we pivot. From the world of strategic branding, let's turn to this other Monet, Bridgette Monet, whose journey, based on her IMDb Pro profile and that YouTube documentary transcript, takes a, well, dramatically different path, but just as compelling, really.
A different path is right.
Her birth name, interestingly, was Dana Kith, born June 28, 1959, and she had, apparently, a quiet suburban kind of upbringing, Huntington Beach, California.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast, isn't it? Her entry into the entertainment world started when she was, what, 21? After posing for a local glamour photographer. Apparently her distinctive look quickly got attention,
Ugh.
which led her to star in this highly popular Swedish series of short vignettes.
Mm.
And she used the stage name Bridgette Monet. That name became like synonymous with what people call the golden age of that particular industry. It makes me wonder, though, was it common back then for someone to jump into a star role so quickly in that genre?
Mm.
Or was it really her look that accelerated things?
Her rise was pretty notable for the time. Yeah, she quickly became a central figure, and her big break, you could say, in theatrical releases came with a 1982 film called I Like to Watch.
Okay.
The sources really emphasize how this film showcased her talents, especially in solo scenes. And what's also highlighted is the on-screen chemistry she had with another performer, Lisa DeLeo. Screw magazine apparently specifically noted their appeal to, fans of that genre.
And she kept building her career through the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Starring in other films like Sorority Sweethearts in 83, Letters of Love in 85. Her performances, her popularity back then, they really shaped the landscape of, well, mature entertainment. We even see she did a A photo spread titled Playing Doctor in 1984, but under her married name, Dana Kith.
Yeah, and what really sets Bridgette's story apart, I think, is how selective she became. Uncommon for the time. After she was established, she chose to work primarily with her real-life partner, who is also an actor, David Cannon.
Interesting.
And that decision, it really points to this clear desire for more control over her professional work, but also her personal life, which, like I said, was pretty rare in that industry back then.
Definitely.
And then, I mean, despite all this considerable success, in 1987, she makes this dramatic shift, leaves the industry entirely to pursue medicine. It really speaks volumes, doesn't it, about her resolve, maybe a desire to write her own story.
It really does. An astonishing pivot for someone who had that level of public recognition. So where is she today?
Well, the sources say that now, at 65 years old, Brigitte Monet, or Dana Cannon, lives a quiet life, relative obscurity, still in California.
Wow.
So this incredible contrast, it really begs a broader question for us, maybe for you listening too. When you're trying to quickly get a handle on information, how often do you maybe make assumptions based on things that just look similar? What does it really mean when names, even with tiny spelling differences like Monet versus Monet, can lead you down such wildly different biographical paths?
What a deep dive this has been, just into the lives behind these very similar names. We've seen Brigitte Monet Boyer, this strategic force shaping brand experiences for huge retail and publishing companies. And then Brigitte Monet, or Dana Kith, who went from the mature film industry to pursue medicine. The sheer contrast is just remarkable.
It truly is. And if we connect this to the kind of bigger picture, it just profoundly underscores how important it is to dig a little deeper sometimes, especially when names or titles seem familiar. You know, superficial similarities can hide these profoundly different stories. It's a powerful reminder, really, that every single person has a unique story. And context, well, context is absolutely everything.
Absolutely. And maybe for you, our listener, think about this. In this world just full of information, how often might a slight change in a name or just a quick glance lead you to assume connections or histories that aren't quite right? What other fascinating stories might be hiding there, right in plain sight, just waiting for a deep dive like this to reveal their true layers?